You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm my friendship. Oh, how
you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it.
What's up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk college football with real fans. I'm Mello. That's our boy Buckeye Steve. I think he's going to be a new friend to the channel, and maybe we might have some partnership going down the road. You might know him as Buckeye Backers, so go ahead and like, subscribe, and support his channel as well. And Buckeye Steve had a very interesting day today. How was
Oh
your
yeah.
day, Buckeye Steve?
Hey, it was sunny. It was good weather for a spring game in the shoe. It was awesome. I got to be
Yeah,
down there on the field and in the press box, so got to see the live action and see those bullets flying and how big this team is, man, and how special this team is. Just stacked at every position. It's all about experience now. All about experience.
yeah. So, as you guys heard, Buckeye Steve has press credentials, so he was actually on the field level with all the players, all the recruits, all the coaches. He got an up close and personal view. Something different than we typically have. As you know, I live in Metro Atlanta, and Dev lives in Tallahassee area, and he's actually on vacation right now. So we wishing him the best. Chat, what's up? Let us know your feelings about how you felt about the spring game, how you feel about the team. We want to interact with you. But getting back to the spring game, Steve, so can you give us some of your opinions on what you saw today from like their warm ups? Take us through the day, like how your day went when you got there, what you did. What was a typical day for Steve today on spring
Uh,
ball Saturday?
Well, first of all, it was free parking, so that's not normal. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Media usually gets the total lot if you can get a media pass, so you get to walk right across the street and get there. So it was a little bit of a hectic time getting in the stadium and getting parking because it's just not usual. Usually you have to pay for the parking lots, and so it
yeah,
was a little unorganized. But once you got in there, it was great. It was sunny in the shade. It was a little cold. So
mhm,
it was just a great day for football, a great day to have Buckeye football back. And
yes.
all these other programs are canceling their spring game, and Ryan Day is like, I want these pads flying, man. I want them popping. I want people to hit. I want to see what our boys are made of, and just having that and seeing some of the kids get their autographs signed by players, and just imagine what it would be like this Saturday if we didn't have the spring game.
Yeah, right.
I mean, can you think of like those people in Nebraska? They live for that too, man. They're just like us.
Yeah, they definitely live for that because there's less to do in Nebraska. That's all they have is the spring
Yeah.
game or college football with Nebraska. There's literally nothing else there. Maybe they go cow
Yeah.
tipping or something. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I'm actually in North Carolina right now. My daughter had some friendlies against some really good North Carolina teams. So that's
Awesome.
why it looks different for me. So I'm in the lobby right now. I had to find a little quiet corner.
And Doug's
But
my
also,
boy in the locker room, Doug Shepard. Or I mean, in your chat, we call it the locker room
okay,
where in Buckeye
yes, sir.
backers.
It's all
I
good.
see him
Yeah,
in there.
Doug is the man. Shout out to Lacey, Hustle, Russ, Stilly. Our prayers are with you. Stilly had to put down his dog tonight, so
Oh
he's
man.
yeah. Send your prayers out to Stilly right now. What's up, lunatics? Devin,
I
I want to
see
say
but
what's up, but I'm pretty jealous of Dev right now. He's on the islands, chilling,
yeah,
sipping daiquiris and mai tais.
that's gotta be nice. Hey, I'm no dev, but at least you got someone with you, man, rolling.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. You
There we
man,
go.
if I could have Dev, I prefer Buckeye Steve. the guy, the man, the myth, the legend. He got field access. So, what did you see down there from warmups? Let's start there. How did their warmups look? Did they look locked in?
Yeah, absolutely. I got to start with the linebackers because that's what just jumps out of my head. How big these guys are, man! 6'4" linebackers, just huge. I
Yeah,
mean, you look at Reese, big dude, man. You look at
yeah,
Pettijohn, big dude. They're just ready to play. I mean, like I said, they have all of the pieces to a national title defending team to go back to back. It's just that
yeah.
they have to get that experience. What worries me is when we come out against Texas,
Hmm.
we need those leaders to develop. Like we have some of them in Sonny and JJ and Caleb Downs. I mean, the two
Yeah,
best players in America are coming back on our team, but you need leaders all across the board, right? You need them at every position. You need them on the offensive line. You need them at we got them at linebacker. You need them on the defensive line. You need them in the secondary, which we got in Caleb Downs, but you need them at quarterback. And we don't know who the
yeah.
the major leader of this team is yet. We had Will last year, and that was instrumental. So we got to
Right.
know who can win the locker room. And just watching the quarterbacks pass. First thing I noticed that jumped out at me when the team came out, Keenholz was actually leading the team with some of who you think would be the captains coming on the field. I don't know if anyone
Mm.
else knows that, but I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then he took the first snaps, and I was like, all right, he's had another year in the program, so maybe that's something to lean into.
Yeah.
So we'll see what it's going to be. It was just something that I noticed stood out to me.
So once the kickoff happened, what were your thoughts and feelings on that first series? I believe Lincoln took the first series. He had a couple
Yeah,
of I would say overthrows. He missed
overthrows for sure.
Jeremiah on the
Hmm.
out route pretty badly.
Hmm.
He was pretty open too.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering what's your thoughts on what you saw on that first drive by Lincoln.
It looked like a guy that was coming in to the shoe starting for the first time, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
you saw it. You go all the way back to Stroud, man. Look what he looked like in Minnesota for the first time ever. And we didn't
yeah,
like it. So you're not going to like everything you see when a quarterback gets out there. And it's
right,
also different because this ain't live, man. Half of his game, his coach, high school coach just, told me today, half of his game is live. Like what he's going to do to separate himself, it's going to be live bullets. And I
right.
agree with that. I mean, he had 1,200 yards rushing his junior year in high school. Dude,
Yeah,
the dude's not just a passer.
right. That's a good point that you bring up, and I kind of want to touch on that because I think if it was just about passing, I think Shane obviously will have a clear and distinct advantage there. I think
Hmm.
the ball just jumps off his hand. His
Hmm.
throwing motion legitimately reminds me of Aaron Rodgers. I feel like he's a
Yeah,
shorter Aaron Rodgers. So in
I've
order to
I've
beat
heard that.
out yeah, in order to beat out an Aaron Rodgers type of caliber player, you have to have something extra or something different. You have to bring something different to the table. And maybe that is his athleticism and his feet. Now, the question is, do we think that, like in Chip Kelly's offense, I knew Will Howard was perfect for that offense because they like to run and utilize the quarterback's mobility more.
Hmm.
Do you
Sure.
feel that in this offense, Brian Hartline's offense, that they're going to do the same thing, especially having so many young, inexperienced quarterbacks? Do you think they're going to expose them to that risk of injury or losing them for the season or something like that?
It depends what happens in the transfer portal for the spring. If you
Okay.
lose one of those guys that's fighting for it, if they both stay, you
Yeah.
have a backup, man. You have a guy that's going to go out there and win you a lot of games. And I think Ryan Day knows he has three. You look at Tavian St. Clair. Yeah, he looked rusty at the start,
Hmm.
but did you see him throw that touchdown pass to close out shop? I mean, he
Woo.
learned his lessons, and dude's a freshman, and he played at a low level conference, man. CBC, same conference I played in when I was in high school.
Yeah.
It it's not the best conference in the world, all right? So he's got to get used to this speed, but he has all the physical tools to make every single throw, and he has all the ability to escape the pocket and run.
Right. He's a big now being on field
Big
level.
dude.
Can you compare the sizes between the three quarterbacks in terms of like height and girth? No Diddy.
Well, Tavian St. Clair jumps off the board. I mean, just you can see it. It's obvious. He is definitely head and shoulders above the other two. He has a little bit of development to go as far as, getting that body, like, that prototypical athlete that you get when you see an Ohio State player. So he'll get there. He's got to spend this next year. I don't think there's no way he's going to win the starting job this year. Right.
Yeah.
But you see him 2 years down the line, watch out, man. He is going to be a stellar quarterback. He can already sling it, man. You saw some of those deep balls that he had too. I mean, even though they were a little bit overthrown, there was a receiver that may have let up because he didn't want hit, but that deep ball looked good. He can make throws. He just, like I said, he's got to be able to settle down, get used to the timing, because these are NFL players he's going against. He went from bottom of the barrel conference in Ohio. I mean, that's being a little bit facetious, but it's not the best talent in the world, right? To NFL talent. It is a huge, huge jump. You got to give him some time to settle in, and he will.
So from your perspective, because I was watching it from my phone, actually. I wasn't even watching it from the TV because they didn't have the channel here. So it looked a little bit different. From you, how were the balls looking as they were sailing through the air?
There was a lot of overthrows to start. A lot of overthrows. But again, to be expected in spring, the first time you're playing in front of 40,000 people and you're the guy that's getting counted on. You're like, I got to go out there and win this. You get a little jazzed up, right? You're going to overthrow it a few times. And like, people are coming at you. Like, I know they're not going to hit you because you're the quarterback, but it's still live, like you get the ball out quick and your juices are flowing and adrenaline pushes the ball over. You're going to sail a few. That's just going to happen.
And you know what? That's one thing I will tip my cap to TSC about, and Lincoln as well, on a lesser extent, is their poise and their bounce back ability.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
I mean, TSC threw 2 interceptions that, like, and especially for a true freshman, they could have rattled any other normal true freshman's cage. And then we all saw Lincoln didn't have the hottest start, and he's in a legit QB battle with one of the most highly rated QBs to come through high school ranks. And that kid is on fire, just slinging it like it was nothing, right? So I want to give, and then you also have the little outside thing noise about Nico. I am leaving, hitting the portal, and they're trying to say that he's tied to Ohio State in some kind of manner. Now, do I believe that's true? No, I believe it's a ploy that the same thing they did the last time when a quarterback hopped in the portal, it was Carson Beck using our name when we had zero interest in him. And I think they kind of hinted at it at his presser today. I think that comment about his QBs and what they're looking for at a high school recruiting, I think that was more to dispel that whole we want Nico thing and we're going to pay him $4 million to come here, which I just think is insane. What are your thoughts on that?
They're not going to upset a locker room with something like that. Obviously, it didn't work out at Tennessee. If he was good enough to make it at Tennessee and good enough to be paid $4 million, he probably would already be on our team. Right. But that's not it's not happening. He didn't show anything passing the ball last year. Great athlete. Like Nico looks great. But we have that already. We have a guy that needs developed. All right. And he's a freshman. He's gonna end up taking the reins eventually. We don't need another developmental quarterback right now, at least in the passing game.
Yeah.
And certainly not for $4 million.
Yeah. And I was more so I wanted you to touch on that, but I also wanted to touch on like their perseverance in terms of Lincoln and TSC to overcome that and all that noise, because they had to hear it.
Yeah,
that's big news.
It's so I didn't even think about that perspective. Yeah, they're probably hearing it, but right now they're focused on a job, man. And that's something you could take care of later. Right now, you got to go out and prove you're the number one quarterback at Ohio State, right? Because if you don't do it today, you got to wait till fall to show that you're the dude. right? So
Yep.
you got they're doing a good job blocking out that noise. I mean, anyone that's coming to Ohio State, especially the quarterback position, Ryan Day's instilled in them, you have to block out the noise, right? Because that fan base is going to turn on you quick, but they're going to raise you up just as quick, if not quicker. You know, if you're out there
Right.
balling out, just like, you know, everyone saw that first half for saying today,
Yeah.
and it was like, oh, there's the starting quarterback. It was over, right? I don't
Yep.
think anyone really paid attention that second half drive where Lincoln takes him down and then throws that dart to Graham, who takes it to the house, which was awesome. Just in and
Yeah.
of itself, that Graham he's as advertised.
So
So I
here's
mean, yeah, that perseverance is really what I wanna lay on people.
right.
You know, going into halftime how you performed, right? But then you
Hmm.
end up the day 13 of 17 for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns for Keenholz.
Yeah.
That's showing you something. Like, and that's what you need. Like, remember when Will Howard was like, "Yeah, I messed up. I took that knee. I
Yeah.
slid against Oregon, but I want to get that back." That's a
Hmm.
competitor. That's the kind of
Yep.
dude you want. Someone that they can go through that adversity and turn it around into a win and get it better. That's what you need as a leader. But saying, I don't want to take anything away from saying, because like his throws looked amazing. You know, outside of a few, he overthrew Graham in the end zone and a couple other overthrows. But he was slinging it, man. He was looking good. We didn't see a lot of deep balls out of him, but he was slinging it. And I mean, first half, he won the starting job, right?
Yeah. So
If we're
that's
not
my
counting anything else.
yeah. So I think it's clear, and it's fair to say if you disagree with me, you could just speak up and say it. It's fair to say that I would say Julian had the best day of the three quarterbacks, right? Do you agree with that?
I mean, 16 of 25, 192 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, it just looks. I mean, stats, put those to the side. The way it looked, yeah, he looked great.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The eye test.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I wouldn't say this is the battle is even close to remotely being over. To be honest with you, I think it's going to go all the way to fall camp, and I do. This is actual. I actually think this is a legit battle. I know a lot of times they say it's a QB battle, and everyone knows it's not really. But I
Hmm.
feel like
Yeah,
it is. It's going to go till fall camp, probably a week before or 2 weeks before the Texas game, and with that being said, I would like to move on to what did you see from the O line and what are your thoughts on the O line? That O line that's got to protect for these quarterback, whoever is going to be the quarterback.
pretty damn good. I mean, those pockets were relatively clean. Again, they weren't blitzing. The defense was playing very base. Ryan Day talked about it afterwards. They only ran just their base defense, right? Which looked like
Hmm.
it was somewhere between a 4-2 and 4-3 at times, if depending if you walk that linebacker out or not,
Hmm.
or you drop someone back at safety. So it's hard to tell. I mean, and the other thing is every win is a loss, right? If you're winning on offense, you're losing on defense. So it's really hard to judge what you're getting out of this because, yeah, oh, awesome pass. And where are we at when, as fans or as coaches or as players, if we're scoring a bunch of points, you're like, oh man, the defense isn't doing good. When maybe Matt Patricia's not doing too good, and people are overreacting to Matt Patricia keeping everything very vanilla. They don't want to show their hand right now. They got Texas to
Yeah,
open up. Why would they?
right, right. So here's what I've been seeing a lot
So the
lately.
offensive line, the offensive line looked good. To answer your question, I kind of danced around that, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
So
yes,
I've been
Bugsy, I was at the student appreciation, and Keenholz definitely won that. He won that
oh
show
yeah,
easy. Oh yeah.
oh did he? It
I
was
mean, the
like
hour that we saw, it wasn't even close.
really that's
Correct.
interesting. So if you're, I mean, I know they track everything. You know, they write down
Mhm.
everything and they use that. How much do you think they rely on tracking every single throw and every single competition that they do as opposed to just the eye test? the human, the human element, because I feel like the eye test is more of the human element. How much do you think they and the staff is going to rely on the human element as opposed to the statistics that they've seen play out?
I think it's going to be a piece for sure. Um,
Yeah,
you gotta be able to have flow. You got to be able to lead the locker room, and I think that's where Day is going a lot. When you listen to him talk, I want to see that guy that's motivating others to get better and doing it on a consistent basis. I don't want to see it just today for the spring game. I want to see it through practice. I want to see it in you're the first one at the training tables. You're the first one watching film. You're the first one winning reps, even just jogging to warm up. You got to
yeah,
see it all throughout. And that's the one thing that I was trying to focus on today. I didn't really see like the team gravitate to one quarterback versus the other just yet. I didn't see, like after they come off to the sidelines. And if anyone saw that, I didn't get to watch the whole game on TV. And that's the part that I'd like to see, just when they get to the sidelines, is the whole offensive line coming up talking to them? Are the receivers like, hey, this is what I want to do next, getting in their ear? Because the team finds the leader eventually, and they know
yeah.
who's going to win the job before anyone else knows.
That's true, and that's
And
a
that's why
very
you get
valid
those
statement.
divided locker rooms.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna let you know. I'm gonna bust your bubble right now. For the TV copy, you can't tell. They don't really show that. They had a lot of little sideline interviews with like a Mecca, JT, Jack,
Yeah,
those
the
type of
rings.
things, and then and then they'll pan back to the game. So they didn't really show the sideline. That's why I was asking you, seeing if you saw whatever you
Hmm.
saw down there that's a little
No, I
bit
didn't.
different. You
Surprisingly,
didn't
it was a
saw.
lot of the quarterbacks coming together talking. Like they're leading each other, telling
Yeah,
each other what they're doing. I can't hear what they're saying, but it looks like they're getting in their little huddle and like, hey, this is the play we're running. This is why we're running it. Things of that nature. It doesn't seem really like one guy's over there like, hey, pumping up the offensive line like you would see like Will Howard going to him if they needed that, that final drive of the game. But again, different circumstances. They're both fighting for jobs, number one, and number two, they're going against their brothers on the other side.
yeah. I feel like one thing that it bodes well for us as fans and as just the team in general is that I feel as if the QB room, all these guys genuinely care for each other. So they genuinely
Hmm.
want to see each other
Absolutely.
succeed. Obviously,
Hmm.
they want to win the job themselves, but I think they appreciate the other competitor that's in the ring with them. So I think that bodes well for us because they're going to push each other to their limits. In terms of the O line, for me, what I saw from the TV copy, it was just like you said, it's two coins. Either someone's winning and someone's losing. To me, it
Yeah.
looked like the O line purely dominated the defensive line. It
I
didn't. It looked
think
like,
I think
from my
Logan
standpoint.
George had three, one hand touch sacks. I don't know if you want to call him a sack, but
Uh huh.
he got close enough to the quarterback to get a sack. And then I saw CJ Hicks get in there a couple times too. So, those reports that we were
Hmm.
getting, from the closed practices and how he was unblockable,
Yeah.
it added up a little bit. But to me, it still looks like he's going to be kind of a package player, Rushman package.
So my question to you, I want to stay right where we're at. Were because I couldn't tell from the TV copy. I couldn't see the jersey numbers wholeheartedly when they were in and doing all that. Were they going
Mhm.
against the first or second team O line, or were they going against the third team O line when they were having all this success? Could you tell?
They were they were mixing it up. It was because they weren't even doing the first team line across the board all the time. They were throwing
Okay.
different guys in because they've made a big deal because of last year, I think, of
Uh
having
huh.
everyone on the offensive line have an A and B position. So most
Right.
everyone plays. I think Carter Lowe and Oniyama are the only ones that are like your tackle, your left tackle, stay there, and
Yeah.
that's it. Everyone else
Okay.
kind of moves around a little bit, and they're trying to find their best six or seven, so they know where to rotate them in.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
So
Because
going. Yeah.
Ryan Day
Absolutely, it
said
does.
you don't want your eighth best lineman going in because he can only play tackle and skipping over the other two that could have
Right.
played, as long as they were switching around from guard to tackle or or guard to
Yeah,
center.
because you want to get your best on
Best
the
seven
field
on
at the
there.
same time.
Yeah,
So my
best
thing
six.
to you, my next question to you is
Sorry, best.
right now, if you had to predict the starting offensive line from left all the way to right tackle, what would you go based off of what you
It,
saw today in the totality?
it's hard.
Just against the nation.
Oni Amwa has it locked down at left tackle. You definitely, I right tackle is hard for me. I don't think that that's settled yet because
Yes.
let's see, you Daniels is. I don't think he's got it locked up yet. Austin Saraville, maybe the starter there. He's
Where you got
repping
at left
everywhere, you
guard?
know.
Let's go left tackle, left guard,
Le-
center, right guard to right tackle.
okay, you have Luke Montgomery. He's definitely got a guard spot down. And I think he's left guard.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He might be right
No,
guard,
that's
but
no, that's right from what I think.
Carson Hinsman's center for sure. You got that locked down. So it's wherever Saraveld goes. That's going to be the hard
Yeah,
part. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to end up playing.
yeah. So if we say Cerebral at right guard, right? Because I think Cerebral at right guard, for me, this is
And
how I would go. I would go Ethan left tackle,
yeah,
Luke left guard. Carson, I
hmm
think, is winning the Remington Award this year. So I'm having
yes,
him at
yeah,
center. At right
absolutely.
guard, I'm gonna have Austin. And the right tackle spot, that is where it could be Ian Moore, it could be Philip Daniels, it could be
hmm
Tegra, which I don't feel that it will be Tegra. Um,
I Tegra could be guard. So if you
yeah,
move Saraveld out to
to right
tackle,
tackle. Yeah.
Tegra could be that right guard,
Do
which
you feel Tegra is one of the five best?
he's definitely one of the biggest. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Is he one of the five best? Yeah, he played well last year. It's hard to tell. Like if he got better because he needs to just get lower. Like if they can get him to get his body a little bit lower, bend more at the hips, he's going to be
yeah,
a beast because no one's pushing him back.
yeah,
He's a big man.
yeah.
Um, I don't. It's hard to tell if he. I don't see enough of practice, but from what I see,
Yeah, it's just
it's
a
almost
guesstimation.
it's almost interchangeable at this point,
Yeah,
and I think that they love that. It's tough, but they love that they can move guys in and out and feel like, hey, we're not losing a beat, man. We
yeah.
have three guards, and they did in the playoffs. I mean, they were rotating in the playoffs all four games.
I think this is an interesting question. Can you comment? Can you see it from Doug?
Yeah,
It
I
says,
think that's actually
so I'm gonna
yeah.
read it out loud for if people
hmm
aren't watching on YouTube. So Doug
hmm
Shepard says they could slide Daniels to guard and move Austin Serville to right tackle. And I just want what's your opinion on that?
Absolutely. I haven't seen Daniels play any guard though, which is interesting because they do want him to have an A and B. I need to go back and look at the film. I didn't pay a lot of attention to the offensive line just because they were rotating a lot,
Yeah,
other than noticing that they weren't getting a lot of defensive pressure through the
right.
defensive line. Again, they weren't stunting, they weren't blitzing, they were running very base. So the offense looked like world beaters. That defense is a lot better than what you saw today. I can
Oh yeah,
guarantee you
no
that.
doubt. But I do have a question now that we're talking about the defense. First off, I'm going to say this is my final comment for the O line. I believe this is why I truly feel this is not fan glasses on. This is not a homer take. This is not to make the people in the chat to be all excited. I truly believe this. I believe we have the best offensive line room in the country, and we will. So I'm actually very happy with our O line room. I don't think there's too much that you can mess it up besides if you don't start Carson Hinsman at center and maybe
Mhm.
Ethan at left tackle, right?
Ethan's there. There's no doubt about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So
He's
those
got that
two,
locked.
I feel like you could mess that up if you don't start those two. But anywhere else,
Correct.
I could make an argument either way. I feel like we literally have 10 players that can start and are at a
hmm
starting caliber level and not just start any at other schools. I mean start here. which means they could
Hmm.
start anywhere at every other program in America. So that's where I wanted to leave off with the offensive line. I do want to hit on I was gonna hit on the D line, but I want to finish the offensive side. I want to hit running backs real quick and then go into zone six. So
Hmm.
what did you see from the running backs? I know they weren't tackling with James Peoples and CJ Donaldson, I believe. I believe Bo Jackson was alive and all the running backs after him, Sam Williams Dixon. What
Okay.
did you see from that? Who impressed you in the running back room and why?
Bo Jackson off the bat, 88 yards, was running, hitting the holes quick and running with power too. He
Yeah,
was getting low, getting around the edge. He like I sent out a tweet. I was like, "He reminds me of Zeke as a freshman." And I know
wow.
that's lofty to say that, but seeing him run, it brought back those memories. When I saw Zeke run as a freshman, I was like, I want to see more of this dude. I want to see more of
Yeah.
this dude. I was saying that the whole day today. More, more, more. All I want is more of Bo Jackson, and we're going to
So
get it this season.
let me ask you, did he look like the most explosive back today
Yeah, I
to
think there
you?
were Peoples was limited. You're going to see a lot out of Peoples. The dude, he's a
Hmm.
burner. Like
Yeah,
when you watch practice, he's the
yeah.
fastest dude out there, and he's winning every rep.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, one cut and go, he's gone. Yeah, he's.
So he sounds special.
There's a reason why Henderson compared him to Dobbins.
Yeah.
I mean,
JK
he
all
did
day.
that. Yeah, he was like, he's Dobbins, and he looks a lot like Dobbins as far as like his build and the way he runs.
Yeah, right.
You'll see it.
So
Yeah,
what about CJ Donaldson? What was your impression of him?
CJ Johnson doesn't look good. Like everything we saw though was this. Like when we saw him, it was wide open. I didn't see him create a lot, but I mean, he made plays when he had the chance. Right?
Right. Did he look like he had a burst to you?
Yeah. Hmm.
That
And that's what I was hearing from like some of the West Virginia naysayers was like, oh, he's slow, like he's always hurt, and those were kind of the comments that we got, or they didn't use him right. Dude, he's in that Ohio State weight room right now and nutrition plan. Things change a lot when you get in that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up actually. That he lost about, I think they said he lost what, 15, 20 pounds.
I think it was 15, somewhere in the
So
range of
I
10 to
mean,
15.
so it's visible because I mean, I'm going to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. When I watched this film
Yep.
from West Virginia, I'm like, oh man, like maybe they should have went harder for Justice Haynes. That's what I was thinking. You know what I mean? But then like I saw how much
Mm-hmm.
weight he lost, and then it's hard to tell on film. But he seemed like quicker from what I was watching on all these snippets on YouTube as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to his West Virginia film. But practice film and game reps, they're two different things. So it's kind of hard to judge and determine what is what. So I just wanted your perspective on that.
Yeah, I mean, he was a tight end recruit coming into West Virginia. So he catches the ball well. I mean, we saw a screen to him. We didn't see a lot of him out of the backfield, but at other practices, him catching the ball out of the backfield is actually, for a 6'2" dude, you don't think that that's what you're going to get, but you'll probably see
Yeah.
him even as a third down back.
Hold on. He's 6'2". He's that big?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's kind of crazy. That's like
Yeah.
Eddie
He's a big dude.
George size.
Yeah. He's in the Eddie George mold. I don't. It's hard to tell, man. Eddie George had those huge shoulder pads, so
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
are a little bit different at running back now.
Yeah. So as you start to come on, you'll be familiar with these names. So I'm talking to Brad, who is Kenyatta Jackson Jr.'s dad. He
All
was
right.
coming on the show frequently.
Yeah.
And he actually coached a lot of these kids down in South Florida, like JJ, BI. He knows all these players. So he was telling me, I talked to him 2 weeks ago, I believe. And I asked him specifically about CJ. And he was like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, he like, Captain, because that's what he says. He always like, Captain, Captain, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Captain. He was like, hey, Coach, I'm telling you, Coach. He was like, JJ was a freshman. KJ was at Chaminade, Madonna. And CJ, he wasn't a running back. He was a wide receiver. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, he torched us. He had like 300 yards and like 3 touchdowns. Like, Captain, I'm telling you, he's the real deal. That's how he was
Oh
saying.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
He's going to easily have the best hands out of all the running backs. So, like,
But that's
I mean,
that's the
you
thing.
saying that just, yeah,
Do you like just think about these guys going back to high school? They were all the best. You know, you're going to
yeah,
major Division 1 school. You were the best in your area, not just your high school. I
yeah,
mean, most of them were the best in their state or up there for it.
yeah.
Like they didn't go
So,
anywhere without being like, I'm the best. So you get
yeah,
here
but
and you're
this
like,
is the thing with Brad. You got to think about it. Brad, he watched JJ grow up. You know what I'm saying? I
oh
call him
yeah,
Optimus
hmm
Prime because he's a
yeah,
transformer. He's a nice, gentle, giant, soft-spoken human being off the field. When he's on the field, he turns
hmm
into a transformer. He's something
oh yeah,
completely different. He's trying to
hmm
annihilate you and rip your heart out. So I call him
hmm
Optimus Prime because he also reminds me of Calvin Johnson, to be honest with you. But
yeah,
so he's watching him play, and this is how he's talking about CJ when they played him in high school.
hmm
So, like, to me, that's what stood out a lot to me. And now that I think about all these offensive weapons, it's like, how do you stop this team? But that's a question that I'm going to ask after we talk about hit on the wide receivers.
hmm
Also, who would you like to see more from in the running back? This is the last question I'm asking on the running back, so we can move on. What do you want to see more out
I
of the running back position, and who do you want to see more of?
I want to see Peoples. I want to see him get some carries. We didn't see a whole lot out of him today. I think the reason was because he is J.K. Dobbins like, and they're like, "Yo, you don't need any carries."
Uh huh.
My perspective, we didn't get a lot of carries out of him, and when he did get hit, they kind of took him out. It was like, "Yo, you're good enough to just
Yeah.
thud, and you're done."
Right. That makes sense. I think that's 100% facts what you're saying. But I also think they wanted to see the quarterbacks throw the ball because it's a quarterback competition right now. So they want to
hmm
see how they throw in front of a large crowd,
Yep.
how they bounce back and persevere through the difficult times. And it's too easy. It's an escape for the quarterbacks to just hand it off. They're like, no, we want to see what you're going to do against VIA right here, you know?
hmm
So that brings me to the wide receivers. What did you see from the wide receivers? What did you like? What did you not like? What do you want to see more of? And where do you think they need to improve?
I didn't see a lot of catches by Quincy Porter, which we saw a lot in other practices or scrimmages. And looking great. Obviously, he got his black stripe removed quick, so he's going to
Yeah.
be a great one. But Mylan Graham, ooh, like that one Keenholz threw to him like right over the center to in the third quarter, like just coming out of break, dude. Just took it to the house, man. Took it to
Hold
the
on? How
house. I was like,
much
dude,
from
you're
your
the you're the
perspective?
you're the fifth wide receiver taking it to the house like that. Come on, man. Our wide receiver room, all of them are stacked, man. It doesn't matter who you put out there. They just get these wide receivers the ball, man. We need to pass the ball to open up the run,
But I
just
wanted to
like in the
ask you
playoffs last
about
year.
that play specifically. Could you see that whole play from the beginning all the way through to the finish when he scored?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think he lined up at slot, and then it was just like a not a sharp post, but like just kind of a rounded post. And it was
Yeah.
those typical Ryan Day crossing routes. I mean, that's just his bread and butter. And you get those
So
crossing routes going and get some of these wide receivers in space. Boom.
so I was wondering if you saw. So from what I saw, I couldn't see the actual route that he ran. It almost looked like a slant from the TV copy, but
It might have been a
it
slant.
was but it was so filthy that Aaron Scott was on his knees when he came out his break. That's why he was so wide open.
I,
So like Aaron Scott was literally on his stomach as he comes out the break, catches Lincoln put the ball right where it needed to be on the money. I'm gonna be
yeah,
honest
he
with
did.
you.
He didn't have
Catches
to slow
it.
down.
Nope. Didn't break stride. That day he's gone. And normally Malik Hartfield is a short tackler, right?
hmm
Completely whiffs on him. It looked like Devin Sanchez could have made a play on it, but he was avoiding getting tackled by Malik. So then it was gone. And Milan has that I could get up and go juice inside of him. He
hmm
got that diesel rocket fuel. So once that happens, it was a wrap. He was gone. So just
Hartford
to
Hartford didn't have the best day.
okay,
Um,
speak on.
yeah.
Oh, I want you to speak on that, but we're
Uh,
almost on
Max
the defensive side.
All right, we can
But go
wait.
ahead.
Whatever you want
Yeah,
to do.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was just, man, that play in particular, and then Max Clare got in between them and got that pass, and then Jalen McClain showed that like he's going to rip the ball out of your hands if you go up Jelani Thurman and try to get that ball in the end zone.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know, man. Just on today, Jalen McClain is going to be that other safety, just based on today.
So here's my thing with Jelani. All right, so I work out with Jelani's cousin, right? He told
Mm-hmm.
me maybe
He
like
had a good
two.
catch today, though.
Yeah, no, Jelani's been working. He told me two
Yeah,
months ago, Jelani's 100% locked in. He's coming in. He's going to play. He's taking it serious. People
he
don't
is.
forget. People forget this stuff about some of these kids. A lot of these kids were the best in their area, right? Maybe the best in their area for a long time. Now, in Georgia, that's kind of difficult to do. But what people
Mm-hmm.
are not realizing is that Air Nolan and Jelani Thurman literally broke the high school scoring, single season scoring record and point record in a season in the state of Georgia in a
Mm-hmm.
history. It still hasn't been broken yet. So they're used to just dominating, right? He comes here. He's around a whole bunch of people who are from the same pedigree and elk from all over
Yep.
the country. So, like, he had to learn how to work harder. He had to learn how to study film. He had to learn all this stuff because when he was in high school, I mean, the kid is 6'7". His dad is Odell Thurman. I think if he's not in the Hall of Fame, he's borderline Hall of Fame. His mom is in the WNBA Hall of Fame. The
Mm-hmm.
kid was playing wide
Athlete.
receiver, basically. Yeah, exactly. 265 pounds. He didn't have to do a whole lot to destroy you. Like just
Nope.
naturally genetic. He'd wake up out of bed and he's better than you. So I mean, he had to learn these things, and you could see it in his play this year and this season. But to get back to that breakup, I said all that to say this. I watch him and Bryson Rogers are like best friends. They go into the Woody. Bryson will film their workouts. They'll run routes. They'll catch the ball off the jugs, off the Monarch machine, not the jugs. I'm sorry, it's the same thing but different machine.
Mm-hmm.
And what he was doing in there is he'll catch the ball high pointed because he's going to use his height. Most of the quarterbacks are going to throw it up because he has that advantage, right? So it's an easier
Mm-hmm.
throw. Either he catches it or no one catches it, right? So he would catch it and then he'll bring it over the back of his head real quick. And if you saw it, he caught it up here, but he didn't bring it
He
over the
didn't
back
bring
of
it
his
back.
head.
Yeah.
And that
But
allowed McClain to knock it out of his hand. So Jelani, if you're watching this, I'm gonna need you to keep repping that so that way it becomes like breathing air. Or you're
mm-hmm.
gonna have to work
Or
out your forearm so your hand grip is way stronger and his little butt can knock it out your hand.
yeah, he got both hands on it in the end zone. That's one you got to bring down. I mean, in big boy
Yeah.
ball, that's what you got to do.
I think
And you're
that's his last
absolutely right about
progression.
these kids. I mean, they're kids, dude. Kids,
Yeah,
18, 19, 20-year-old dudes that have to grow up and be a man and learn to be the best at studying the film, the best in
right,
the weight room, the best at your diet plan, and then get out there on the field and show it. Like that's
right,
a lot to do when you're used to being, like cradled, really, right?
right.
If you're the best of the best, you're just like it's handed to you. Like you do whatever you want in high school.
And I think
But
it's
now,
different from even our generation, right? Even if
yeah.
you were the best, unless you're LeBron James growing up, like you had to grind for it still. Like you might get a
Which
little bit of perks here and there, but you still had to grind,
which
even
apparently
in the high
JJ is
school.
the LeBron James of football, according to Marvin
Well,
Harrison.
oh yeah, man. I mean, come
That's
on.
awesome. Can you
I
imagine
think
like
I think
Marvin
he has
Harrison
the
Jr.
build
saying that
of
about you?
to me, he's the build of LeBron, but his
Mm-hmm.
skill set and what he does in his bag is more MJ-esque. So imagine
Mm-hmm.
an MJ in LeBron's body. Like it's unstoppable.
Yeah.
But yeah. So like JJ, I'll go ahead and hit on it. JJ got overthrown by Lincoln. I didn't like that. I mean, it is what it is. He probably didn't have his
Mm-hmm.
feet set. I didn't watch it twice. Usually when you're doing something like that, it's a mechanical thing, it's not anything else really. It tends to start from your feet from the
Yep.
ground up. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that's what happened with that. I don't need to see much from Optimus Prime personally. He's the greatest wide receiver in college right now. So I'm okay on him. Tate dropped the ball. I was shocked about.
Mm-hmm.
but I
Yeah.
also not
So,
worried about him on that. That also went against Lincoln, so we got to think
mhm,
about that. Bi, man, Bi is Bi. I didn't see him drop anything. He was catching everything, even the ones that was thrown a little bit behind him. Which some people be like, "Oh, he threw it behind him." Maybe he's trying to protect that wide receiver from taking that big hit
mhm.
across the middle. And he's like, "Nah, slow
Dude.
down, because that linebacker is about to take your head off." And then if you saw it, Bi spun to the outside because it was behind him. He got some probably like 5, 6 extra yards off of that. And then he had another end route where he caught it. But Mylan Graham, man, this is where Mylan Graham was making Aaron Scott look crazy. And Aaron Scott is a dog.
Mhm.
He's one of the best corners in his class nationally. He's top two.
Yep.
So like that speaks to how special Mylan Graham is, in my opinion. I would have liked him to throw Devin Sanchez out on him just to let him get some of that work. But I feel like
Mhm.
Devin had a pretty good day from what I saw.
Yeah, Devin actually had a really good day, and he has been having great days. But Mylan Graham, going back to him,
Yeah,
he's produced every time I've been there, every time I've seen
yeah,
it. And that student appreciation scrimmage, always open. I posted videos that like he's open all day because
yeah,
it was just like ball after ball after ball was going to him. And I think, it's just because we have so many receivers on the outside that if you can get a guy that's coming across the middle, which a lot of his routes are, they're going to be open underneath. Like you
yeah.
take everyone out wide, run another guy underneath, or the outside guy is going straight up field, cut that other guy underneath him. It's wide open, man.
So this is my
And
question to you,
yeah,
real quick. Now that you're talking about that, is it more Mylan speed, the concepts from the scheme, or is Mylan just out there routing up dudes?
well, I mean, he's doing his part for sure. It's
Yeah,
both. I mean, the scheme. This is what Ohio State's known for. This is what Ryan Day's offense is known for: is getting those guys across the field. You've seen it going all the way back to 2019. He
yeah,
he gets those crossing routes going. Based on what defense they're playing and pick plays sometimes. Though we have the wide receivers to do it. We got to do that. I mean,
yeah.
it's almost always open.
Right. So do you think it's a more an indictment on our DBs, or is it more stating how highly skilled and special our receivers are?
It's a
Bec-
skill of our wide receivers and the base defense too. Like, there's no pressure on the quarterbacks really right now, so
yeah.
they have time to throw it. They have time to wait for those longer developing crossing routes to get there.
hmm When
But
you went to the student appreciation day, was the defense this vanilla, or was it a little bit different?
it was a little bit different, but not much.
Okay.
I don't remember a blitz, but they were doing some stunning and they were changing, their defense just a little bit.
So how did the O line perform in that scenario as opposed to today?
They did really well, really, really well. There was a couple sacks, and they went live with the quarterbacks a couple times, so we saw a
Right.
couple sacks. Um, Trying to remember, TJ Alford got a sack in on
Yeah.
Julian Sane, and man, Sane got smashed at the goal line trying to take one too. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
there were some
I
good
think that was
hits.
TJ Offer too. Hold on. So did he hit him really
I
hard?
might
Because
have,
you
no, no,
can't
no,
really tell in
no, no,
that
no.
clip.
You're right. It was TJ Alford that hit him on the run. You're right. It was,
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was that got the sack.
Did he hit him pretty hard there?
Yeah, dude, it was loud for sure.
Oh, really? Because you couldn't
Yeah.
really tell, like
No,
from
you couldn't.
the camera.
I mean, there were a lot of O's. It was a
Yeah,
hit,
that's interesting. That's kind of bold and brave of
dude.
Coach
It was
Day, right?
real. It was. I mean, it was live. They were hitting.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Man, dang. So I salute Julian then, because I'm thinking like maybe TJ wasn't trying to kill him, like he might have pulled up a little bit, just saved the quarterback.
Mm-mm.
But from
No, he
what you're
didn't.
sounding, it sounds like he hit him like he was a running back.
No, and the video didn't give it justice, but live, yeah, it was a real hit.
Okay. Okay. So let's hit some the tight end group again. We already talked about Jelani. What did you think of Max Clare? and the other tight ends, Nate
Max
Roberts.
Clare looked good. Kaczmarek obviously is out.
What's wrong with him?
He was in
What
a
happened?
boot and on a scooter. So
Oh,
Ryan Day said they'll have him back this summer, but I think that's
does it sound like he broke his foot?
Well, I mean, when you get in a scooter, like first thing, if you get in a boot, like that could be just a sprained ankle. But when you
Right.
got the scooter and the boot, I mean, maybe it's an overabundance of caution, but usually that is a fracture if you're trying to be non-weight bearing too.
Hopefully, it's not
But
an
I-
Achilles
but I-
because the last person we saw on the scooter had an Achilles.
Yeah, that's true. Man, that would be awful. But I trust Day that he said he'll be back this summer. He didn't think it was that much of a deal.
Okay.
But our tight
mean-
end room's loaded, so
Yeah. Yep.
Claire
So what did
Claire
you-
looked good.
what-
We talked
yeah.
about Jelani Thurman.
Yeah.
Everyone looked good. I mean, I didn't see much of Bennett Christian out there. There was LeBlanc who had a couple of good catches too, and then was it Roberts?
Yeah.
Roberts
man,
had some good catches.
he didn't drop anything.
Yeah.
Roberts caught
He-
everything.
Yeah, Roberts caught one like right in front of me, man. In fact, directly.
That's
in
on
front
your
of me.
X.
Almost
I'm pretty
had to
sure
move.
that's on your
Yeah.
X account
Yeah,
because I've shared that. I reshared it on our post.
that was right
But-
right before Tavian St. Clair hit that touchdown to Bell to end the
Yeah.
game.
Yep. Dan, you got some really good shots out there, man. That's pretty awesome. I was pretty impressed with Nate Roberts, I'm gonna be honest. And now I see
Yeah.
why he was the number one target on Coach Key's board.
Yeah, what was he? I think he was a 4-star.
He
I
started
remember
off as a 5-star, and then
Did he?
the recruiting
He got-
services do what the recruiting
he got that
services do to
Buckeye.
the Buckeye.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The depreciation. Oh, we
Yeah,
don't like you.
that'll-
We're gonna depreciate it.
Especially if they commit early, right? It's like,
Right.
oh, we're gonna bump them down a little bit. They got to get some
Absolutely.
drama so they can get some more clicks, right?
Yeah, and I think, but the thing is, I feel like maybe it's because I'm sensitive because this is my team that I root for, but I feel
Yeah.
like they only do it to Ohio State kids.
Yeah.
Like it seems like
if
it
you
was
go-
so obvious.
If you go read the message boards for the other teams, they're saying the same thing. It's like
Yeah.
referees. Like when you complain about the referees, it's like, oh man, like if it's your team, you're gonna complain no matter what, right?
Man, that's a great analogy. I haven't heard anyone use that one. That's a good one right there. Referees. I was just complaining about the refs at the soccer game today. They did an awful job.
Exactly.
I'm
They
about to
never
start
do
calling.
good, man.
I'm gonna start calling the refs Con 3. So Dev instead of calling them on 3, he calls them Con 3 because
Con
they're
3.
like, yeah, because they had Connor Stallions interview on it. 1, number 2, they're
What's-
always messing.
What's your worst referee call against the Buckeyes of all time?
He's so this is how do I say this? I'm kind of related to this dude. I am related to him. But it was against Clemson 2019. He caught the ball, took 2 steps. My man Jeff Okuda made him
4
fumble.
steps. 4 steps. I
Made-
counted 4 steps, man.
Made
I'm with you.
him
That's
fumble.
mine.
He picked it up and ran it back. But like, I don't like talking
And-
about it because he's blood related. But at the same time, it's like, man, you dropped that ball, bro.
Yeah. Oh, that was a fumble for sure. He took
Yeah,
back
yeah.
out of 4 steps. I think he completed the 3rd. He was almost on the 4th when that ball came out, and they called it a touchdown on the field. Like fumble, return for a touchdown. That's the part that was like, SEC refs like reviewing it, overturn that. There's no way. I've seen a lot. That one, I hate it, man. It always pisses me
That
off.
one was pretty bad. So the reason I say that one over the Marv one is because I feel like that team right there. First off, it was obvious politics. They wanted Clemson in for some reason. It didn't make any
Mhm.
sense. Number one, Ohio State has a bigger fan base. Number two, that would have been a better national championship. Justin Fields, J.K. Dobbins, Jeff Okuda, Chase Young, and
Mhm.
all those boys right there.
Yeah.
Sean Wade against LSU, right? And I
Mhm.
know a lot of people just foregone LSU will win. I don't think so.
That was a
The
tough
reason I
beat.
say And the reason I don't think so is because LSU's defense, how are you going to stop Justin Fields? He's a legit 4-3 runner and he could throw the ball. We
Mhm.
had Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. We still had zone 6. Like, how
Yeah.
are you going to stop this? I feel like this is how I feel. I feel like we would have stopped their offense at least 1 or 2 possessions more
Mhm.
than what they would have stopped our offense at. So that's
Mhm.
why I kind of lean we would have won, but I can understand why people do that because they're like, oh, you didn't even make it. But we didn't make
Mhm.
it for circumstances beyond our control. It had nothing to do with the actual on-field play, you know. But
For sure.
yeah.
Sorry to get
What
you off
about
topic,
yours?
man. That was just
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
mine.
yeah,
That's absolutely mine. I mean, it's not even
yeah.
close. I
See, Marv was
to
pretty
this
close,
day.
man. See, the
Yeah, I
Marv
mean,
thing was pretty close
I
for
get that, but
me.
the targeting thing is like, yeah, it could go. It's a little bit subjective, right? But that fumble, it was a fumble. I mean, and it was
Yeah,
overturned. Like, come
yeah.
on, you can't overturn that. Like the call on the field, at least the call on the field stands. Like
You know what?
er,
It could be that, or it could have been the targeting call or Sean Wade when Trevor
that
Lawrence
was
ducked into the hit.
yeah, but that's the way the rule was written. That was technically a targeting. That's why I don't complain about that one. It was a terrible rule the way the rule's written. If you duck on as an offender, as an offensive guy, you get away with it.
Yeah,
Like you should be teaching all your offensive guys to duck their head. I mean,
yeah,
they don't
yeah.
do that to running backs though.
Right. They just want to protect the QB. That's the
Yep,
money spot, you know.
yep.
Um, but yeah, back to this. I love what I saw for Nate Roberts. I want to hit the defense. All right, so let's start where I think we probably have the biggest issues right now, and let's start with D line. And I
The
don't think
depth.
it's just because it's not the starting, it's the depth behind the starters.
Mhm.
So, can you give me your perspective of what you saw today from the defensive line, going
I,
against that vaunted O line and the depth of the D line, and what kind of
again,
issues do you see? What kind of positives do you see, and how would you fix the issues that you do see?
like we said earlier, Logan George is going to be a baller. He's going to be able to get after the quarterback. I think Kenyatta Jackson's great. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think our starting defensive line is great. We just need some more rotational pieces, and we're going to get into the portal. I mean, Ryan Day didn't come out and say it, but he said he wants depth. That's where he's concerned about that, and that is where we're going to get into the portal after. And it might not be for a starter, but we're going to need
Uh-huh.
some rotational pieces at D line for sure,
Right. Yeah.
specifically D
So,
tackle.
okay. So, what did you see at D tackle from Caden and Kanak and Edric Houston?
K-Mac and Edric Houston. I mean, K-Mac, he just needs to be able to stay in the game.
Uh huh.
He just needs that longevity. He needs that endurance. And if he is, awesome, because he's a great player. We saw him last year plugging up that
Right.
defensive line in the Texas game. I mean, he was blowing
Right.
through the line. And Edric Houston is, I think he came in as a defensive end, and now he's more
Yep.
of a defensive tackle. He just bulked up and he's ready to ball. Other
Yeah.
than those two, we got Jason Moore, and Jason Moore showed flashes today,
Hmm.
but I think he needs some more consistency. Consistency. I mean, there
What
was
about
times where he got
Tyron
blown off the
Malone?
ball. Talon, I didn't see a whole lot out of him today. I didn't notice him. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Mm. To be
That's
honest with
probably
you,
that's probably a good thing.
you think so?
I mean, as a defensive
Are you
tackle, you're
trying to
not
just
usually
be?
blowing through the line.
Are you trying to be positive, or are
Maybe
you?
I got to go back and watch it because I slow it down and watch it, and that's what I was doing. Why we were a little later than your live
Yeah.
slot because I was going back and watching it, and I didn't get through the first half quite yet.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. I see what you're saying. You don't like to go ahead and put out like your opinion wholeheartedly on some you haven't watched at least twice, is what I'm guessing.
Correct. Yeah. Like first opinion was like I thought Jason Moore looked good. There
Uh
was,
huh.
but I've heard some other people talk about just reading comments and stuff that he got blown off the ball a couple of times. I don't recall seeing that, but also we got to take a step back again. and think about what's going on. You're not doing any twists, you're not doing any stunts, you're not doing any blitzing. That really changes the way you look as a defensive line. It's like,
That is true.
going back to the beginning of the year before the Oregon game, we weren't getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Once we changed up that defensive line, started getting some twists, getting some stunts, and not even a whole lot of blitzes, but we were getting after the quarterback because we changed things around. I mean, you make it confusing on these quarterbacks. It's hard. It takes a little bit more time to get the ball in the air and to know where the pressure's coming from.
Yep. And Grandpa Buck, thank you for this comment. Yeah, I think we might be overthinking the line a little bit. We weren't stunting or doing much to apply pressure. I trust Mo will have lots of different pressures.
Mm-hmm.
I think he meant MP for Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's a
Yeah.
valid point, and that's exactly what Steve was just saying and alluding to right now. And then they actually alluded to it in his presser where he was saying everybody on the defensive line was responsible for a single gap. They weren't doing anything. They ran the same two
Mm-hmm.
formations the entire spring game, and it allowed the O line to double team and scrape. And they were liking, and by double and scraping, that's an analogy we used to use when I was playing football, where basically you double the D lineman, and then
Mm-hmm.
somebody pushes off the D lineman and gets to the second level onto a linebacker or a blitz and safety, which they didn't blitz anyway, so to a linebacker, and knocks them off the ball and engages them. So I saw people, and I'm going to just be honest, it was Team Up North fans and podcasters trying to joke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they were joking. This is just them like coping and reaching because honestly, I don't know a defense in America that's going to stop this offense outside of our defense because we have the players and the coaching staff to do it. I don't see how it's going to be stopped. And you see them saying, oh, look at Ohio State's defense. They had a horrible day. They played terrible. They look like SHIT. And I'm just like, dude, do you have eyes? They didn't do anything. They ran the same two formations the entire game. You know what I mean? And you're asking BIA to cover zone 6, which is the best wide receivers in America, for an extended period of time without any pressure on elite quarterback play. We get the best quarterback. So, I mean, what did you expect them to look like? They looked exactly how they should have looked like, and our offense looked exactly how it should look like. So I just wanted to get that off my chest real quick.
Hey, it could be all hopes and prayers if they want up north for the off season. When we get playing on the field, as long as we go back and make the playoffs and they go, 8-5 again.
Yeah,
good.
exactly. It's
good.
always a good day. So so what do you think we need the most help on the D line though? Just from what you've seen between the whole spring practices, all the practices that you have been at. Is it D end? Is it the interior, the defensive tackle spots? Where do you think we need the most help?
We'd need depth at defensive tackle for sure. When Hero Canoe left, that hurt. Yeah. And they've mentioned it a lot. He was a dude that was going to be that rotational piece. He was going to be the third one in. And why he left, I have no idea. But he went to Texas, and man, that hurts. I think it hurt the team. It hurt the culture that they had built with him, and they had big plans for him. Like he was the dude coming in. He could have fought for a starting position even. But I don't know what happened down there in Texas, but they got him.
So that actually
it's probably going to be for the same position too. He might not start down there either. They got boys in Texas.
Dev actually has insider information on this one. He told us before. Basically, Jim Knowles wanted to go switch the defense more to a 3-down lineman scheme. And Hero, obviously being in that scheme, he wasn't going to play really. So he decided to leave. Harold told some people, this is what Dev told me. I believe Dev because he is pretty sourced up on this one, and he like swore up and down to me. Harold told some people that if he knew Jim Knowles was leaving, he would have never left, and he actually regretted it. Now, does that mean he's going to hop back in the portal and come back home? I don't know. because I heard something like he signed some paperwork for his NIL value, and yeah,
Hmm.
obviously they gave him a pay increase than what he was getting here. So I don't know
He's
how that works.
I don't think he's allowed to get NIL because he is a foreign exchange student.
Oh,
Technically,
really?
I think there's rules against it. I have to look that up again, and I said I was going to do that before, but I never did. Almost
Oh, yeah.
positive, yeah.
Yeah, if you could find that out, because if he's not getting NIL, then
I don't know if he's
Hero,
allowed to make money.
you might as well just come back to Columbus, brother.
I
Like
mean,
you
that's
don't want to be in
not to
that
say
Texas
that
heat.
there isn't, bag men that could give out some money, but
That is true. There's always bagmen, especially down south where you got oil money. in,
hmm
in
yep.
Texas, you know. But yeah, so that's kind of interesting that you said that because before spring season, if you would have asked me, I would have said, hey, we need depth at defensive end. I think we're solid at defensive tackle. Now it's looking like it's more the opposite in reverse. As a matter of fact,
Doug,
I would take a
put
defensive
Doug's
end
comment
and
on there.
where is he? Oh, the
He's
last
got
one?
it. Yeah,
Hero?
with the student
This one?
visa. Yeah,
Oh, Hero is in the States on a student visa and he is only allowed to make 10,000 a year. Dang. Man, we were
he's
getting
losing some
over
money,
on
man.
him. We were taking advantage of Hero, huh?
Yeah. Here you go. Here's your 10
Interesting.
grand, man.
All right, well, I want Hero to come back and I want some other D
That would be
linemen.
awesome. That would be awesome.
I think if we
I
get
mean,
Harold to come back, we get another defensive tackle and maybe another defensive end. I will be pretty confident in our D line to be solidified enough that we could go back to back. I think personally, the D line is the only
they're going to
thing that's
need that
stopping
depth.
me. Yeah, that's stopping me from going 100%. Yeah, we're going back to
Yep.
back. Right now, I'm at about a 95 to 97% that I think we'll go back and repeat personally. But
I did.
I also studied for me, I studied the Big Four because there's always the Big Four. The Big Four is Ohio State,
Mhm,
Texas, Oregon,
mhm,
UGA. I look at their rosters, I look at the coaching staff, I look at the schemes, I look at the
mhm.
players. Right now, I think we have the best roster. Still, I think we have the best coaching staff, and I think we have the best scheme. Now, do we have enough
Doug,
depth if we take injuries? Is where I'm a little concerned with. And obviously, there's going to be one to three teams that come out that you're not thinking about that are going to do better and overperform expectations, which would be, I would say, Penn State could be one of those teams. Um, we'll see what the team up north has, and I don't know who else it could be. It could be some random like University of Florida. DJ Langley's 100% healthy. What were you saying about Doug though?
he just said we do have two linebackers big enough to play DN almost. That's true,
Yeah,
man.
that's true.
You look at Sonny and Arvel Reese.
Yeah.
They would be good defensive ends as far as just measurables
Yeah, but do they have the technique? Because it isn't just
for
like
sure.
I'm
No,
gonna
I mean that's a different story.
bulldoze you or just run around you. So
Hmm.
like I think we still need like legit defensive ends that's what they project to be. So let's go ahead and hit the linebackers now that you brought up Sonny and Arvell and Riley Pettyjohn and TJ
Hmm.
and Peyton Pierce. What did you see today? What did you think? What did it
Peyton
look like
Pierce
down
looked
there?
good. I saw a couple of plays where Riley Pettijohn was scraping and getting to the flats.
Yeah.
On a run. I think it was a run.
Yep.
Um, Looked really good. Um, Sonny Styles is Sonny Styles. I mean, he's going to be a leader of this team, and he got it there. That one tackle behind the line that he got was awesome. He
Yeah.
got right around I think it was the center. Someone was
Hmm.
coming to seal him off, and he got around it real quick, got upfield, and made that tackle. You're going to see a lot of that out of Sonny this year. He's the leader of the team. I mean, easily
Right.
the leader of the team. He's going to have that block O jersey, I would imagine, and
Yep.
as does everyone else.
Right. And I'm wondering
And
if that means
Peyton
that
Pierce,
Devin,
Peyton
yeah,
Pierce has looked good, dude, real
yeah.
good. Uh, I'd like to see a little bit more out of Arvel Reese. I've heard a lot about him, but I haven't seen it with
Mhm.
my own eyes.
Even that student appreciation.
Yeah, I didn't see much out of him. No.
Hmm.
I,
Was
I
he
keep
playing a
hearing
lot, or
stuff.
did they like limit his snap count?
Yeah, yeah. No, he was in.
Hmm.
I,
That's interesting.
I mean, dude, he fits the look test for sure. And
Yeah,
everyone's talking about how good he's been.
yeah.
So it must just be the times I've seen it and focus squarely on him. I haven't seen a whole lot.
Okay. So I saw one play. I forgot to look up the who it was. It was it's on X actually, and Duke actually commented on it. Riley's dad. So
Hmm.
Peyton
Yeah.
Pierce came in, engaged the offensive guard. It was the left guard,
Hmm.
laid him on
Got
his
around him.
butt, came around the center, filled the gap, and made the tackle. A phenomenal play. Um,
Hmm.
to the human eye, if you're not really paying attention, it's just like, oh, all right, he
It's a
just made
tackle.
a
Yeah.
a tackle, but you didn't see that he laid out the left guard, looped over around the center, came and filled the other gap where the other right guard was at, and made the stop for at a minimum no gainage, 0 yards
But it
gain.
was like
But
it was like out in the flats though. I mean, it was almost a sideline, like middle linebacker to sideline tackle. If it's the one I'm thinking of too.
well, I saw Riley Pettijohn make that one on Sam
Oh
Williams
yeah, yeah,
Dixon where he ran out.
yeah.
But the one I'm
Hmm.
talking about, Peyton Pierce engaged
Oh
the
yeah,
left guard. I don't know who it was.
yeah.
Laid him out, looped around the center, and then right where the right guard was, he replaced that gap right there
Hmm.
and met the running back in the hole. Riley, I love that he flies to the ball. I think
Hmm.
I keep saying that he's going to be a future Buck Kiss Award winner. He flies to the ball and he laid out Sam William Dixon with a nice hit. You know what I always think about? The guy was here today, recruit 2026, #1 linebacker in the country named Tyler Atkinson out of Grayson, Georgia. I always just had these visions of him and Riley on the field as a linebacker tandem. And the reason I do that, they're very similar, but I think Tyler might be slightly bigger than Riley right now and maybe a half a step faster. But they both can cover sideline to sideline. They both could cover your tight end in the flats or down the seam. They could cover your slot if he comes across the seam. They could smack him, and they both could engage O linemen and fill gaps and blitz and get to the quarterback. I look at them, and if we lock down Braylon Womack and we get Deuce Gerald's, which I think we're significantly in the lead for, how are you going to score in this defense? I think the defense just continues to improve. You know,
That's
um,
that's the
it's
thing.
ridiculous.
Someone in the comments was like, "We're going to be O line U pretty soon too."
Mm,
It's looking like that at every position, man. The way we're
yeah,
recruiting, the way we're stacking talent on talent on talent on talent every year, and where we're bringing in better recruiters at every position. I mean, it wasn't too long ago where we were like, "Man, the linebackers at Ohio State terrible in 2020," against that Alabama team. Oh,
that was crazy.
and now our linebackers are stacked. You bring in James Laurinaitis, and it's like, oh man, we like just
Yeah,
the guys we're bringing in and the coaches that we're bringing in. Sometimes it's weird to bring back someone who played, but
right.
he's the right guy for the job. And obviously, you've seen a transition in the way our linebackers played the last couple of years.
Absolutely. And talking about people that want to come back, I'm gonna just shout him out right real quick. Gary and Conley, we did an interview with him on the Buckeye Boys here, and he said he would love to come back. He
Hmm.
You could tell it's like, how do I make that connection? How do I get back here? So, like,
Hmm.
if OG Walt, if you're looking for some extra help, you having to watch this, or anybody out there that knows OG Walt, tell them to hit up
Hmm.
Gary and Conley. He's trying to come back and pour in and give back to the brotherhood. He flat out told us here on the Buckeye Boys. But
Yeah,
back to yeah,
with having all that access for the hiring more GAs or hiring more analysts, that's a good way
yeah.
to get in.
And guess where he's located right now?
In Columbus,
Nope,
I'm imagining. No, where's he
Houston,
at?
Texas.
Oh,
Houston,
really?
Texas, and he has his own training facility there. So guess what? He already has relationships in Texas. It just
Oh,
strengthened
yeah.
our roots in Texas, in the state of Texas. So if they're looking to hire
Love.
another someone else to help out in the DB room, I highly suggest go holla at Gary and Conley because building more roots in the state of Texas cannot hurt.
Absolutely. When those Texas boys come north to Ohio State, it's always a good time, man. They always show out. I
Yeah.
wrote an article about that not too long ago. I got that on my
Oh,
X
really?
too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and read that after this. But where were we? We just finished up linebackers. So all right, the bread and butter DBs. What did you see from the DBs? Who stood out to
Again,
you?
like the defense was hard. It's hard to judge the DBs. Aaron Scott showed some fire. Like he
Yeah.
did get a couple of times where he was burnt. Jalen McClain was really the one that I noticed the most, just because of that play against Thurman in particular, and the fact that he was always in position. It seemed.
Yeah.
Let's go. I wish we would have saw more out of Matthews because he's a dog. In the scrimmage, in the student appreciation scrimmage,
Yeah.
everywhere, man. He's the one that had that pick against Julian Saint. Dude's gonna be a first round draft pick, easy.
Yeah.
Matthews just jumps off the board ridiculously good.
Did you get to see? Did he match up with Optimus during that appreciation scrimmage at all?
Not a lot, no. Definitely not a lot. And why? I don't know why we didn't see that much. But we saw a
Who was
lot
really?
of Devin
Who was?
Sanchez working against him
Yeah.
and Aaron Scott working against JJ.
How do they look?
Optimus. Good.
Yeah. How they look?
I mean, they held their own. They held their own for sure. I mean, it's hard to judge, because there was a comeback route, and that one's posted on X too. But there was a comeback. I mean, he was trying to run them deep, came back, got that back shoulder almost.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit of holding, but it wasn't called. They had referees there, so if it's not called on
Yeah.
the field, it doesn't count. And so some people were like, "That's a hold," but it wasn't called, and you didn't get beat deep by JJ, and you're a freshman. Come on,
Right.
man! You're going against the LeBron James or the combo LeBron James Michael Jordan of college football.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
you hold him. He dropped the pass. It might have been a little bit of a bad throw. That's a win, man. That's a win
Yeah.
for a freshman cornerback for sure.
Right. That's good to hear. So do you think the ceiling and the floor is pretty high for Devin?
Oh, yeah, easy. He's gonna be he's gonna be a good one. He's gonna get a lot of playing time this year. I mean, he's already a rotation piece now.
Yeah. That's a good point. What about Bryce West? What are you seeing?
Bryce
from
West
him?
had his moment. He was a lot like last year. He had his moments. I think he's running a little bit more nickel now than he has been, at the field corner.
Yeah. How's that looking for him?
It looked good. He looks good. I
Yeah.
think he's going to be a good nickel. I think he's going to
Yeah.
be the backup behind Lorenzo. And Styles looked good today.
Did he?
The other Styles, yeah.
Yes. Lorenzo Styles.
So I was actually at that student appreciation. I was standing right next to Mama Styles. We were up on
Yeah.
like one bleacher seat, just trying to look at everything. And I didn't know who she was, so I didn't know it was her from the start. But she was really wanting Lorenzo to get out there. She was cheering him on big because she knows Sonny's got the job locked down. She just wants to see both her boys out there at the same time. I was like, man, that's
Right.
got to be a cool feeling. You're going to see both those guys out there at the same time. Your husband was a legend here. Their father. That's cool,
Yeah.
man. Could you imagine that if that's your family?
That'd be awesome, man.
Man.
That's like a dream.
Yeah.
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 So
That's everyone's
Aaron
dream.
Scott, I want to hit on Aaron Scott real quick. I know we talked about him a little bit, but I feel like he had a good but rough day in the
Yep.
office.
Yeah.
He had a tough assignment, and I'm wondering, they left him on that assignment. I feel like it's like, yo, we need you. We
Mhm.
want to see you work. We want to see you get
Mhm.
better. You're going to challenge
Yep.
you, and you could tell. Even when he wasn't on my lane, then guess what? He had QP, and him and QP
Yeah.
got into a little shoving
Oh
match.
yeah. Yeah. I gotta
Can you
give it
speak
to my
speak to that?
937 boy. Yeah. Aaron Scott, he's from the same area I am. So I
Yeah,
always give him a little bit of love just because I want to see a local boy do good. So
right,
he's
right.
from Springfield, Ohio, and I'm from the small little farm town just a little bit further away than Springfield. But I go there all the time, man. I'm always in Springfield. So I love to see I love to see him do good, and I like that fight too. Like he wasn't backing down.
Yeah. Yeah.
QP came at him, and he was like, "Man, I'm gonna show you I got some fight, man."
And I
It's
actually
hard.
love that.
It's hard when you get that, Buckeye on Buckeye. You don't want to see them fight, but you want to see them actually not back down, right? I'm not backing down from anybody. I'm gonna show you I'm
Right.
a dog.
Exactly. And that's why I like it, because if you do that with
Yeah.
your own teammate, what are you going to do with an
hmm
opposing teammate,
Yeah.
or
You
the
you don't back
opposing
down.
team?
The problem is that's a 15-yarder, right? In a real game,
Right.
that shove is going to cost us some yards for sure. So you got to calm
Absolutely.
that down. You got to get that under control. But like in the spring game, it's cool. In a
Yeah.
real
You
game
want to see
against
that
Texas,
fire.
don't be doing that, man.
Right. Right. So IGB. All right. We all know he led the country in PIs last year.
I haven't
Um,
seen a lot of
ha-
holding out of him. I haven't
exactly.
seen a
Well,
lot of holding out of him.
see, you're answering the questions before I can even get it
Uh,
out. You're turning into a
you,
mind reader. We just got some crazy synergy right now. You know what I was going to ask you?
dude, I actually like legitimately. You know how they say we're gonna put that ball in your hand, and what was that? Was that it wasn't Varsity Blues where it started from? I can't remember now. It was one of those football
The
movies where you
program.
have to carry the program where you have to carry the ball around all the time. He needed
Yep.
gloves on, like mittens on, all practice, all spring practice. And I was like, if I was coach, legitimately that would have happened because he was always in the right place. It wasn't like he was getting burnt. He just was handsy, man.
Right.
Like he's athletic. He was always in position. I think it was just in his head that
Exactly.
he thought he wasn't in position, and that's the only thing I could think. Like, man, I'm not in position. I'm not in position. I got to grab. Just worried. I
Yeah.
think he would. We all get. If you've ever played cornerback and you're out on an island, you get antsy, man. You see that ball in there. That's why your eyes get big as a receiver because that's your body's natural reaction. I'm going after that. You know, uh,
Right.
and as you see that as a cornerback, you're looking in those eyes and you see him get big, and you're like, "Damn, man, is he going to burn me?" And you got to grab. So
Yeah.
the fact that he hasn't done that, that's awesome.
Yep.
I would have had
Yep.
mitts on
Yep.
him. Mittens. He would have had mittens all spring if it was me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
But it looks like they coached that out of him.
yeah,
He's gonna be an NFL, day 2 draft pick,
for
and
sure.
maybe he could play himself into a day 1 this year.
So what did you see from the safety position? I know Caleb Downs played limitedly.
Oh
I
yeah,
think he might
for
have
sure.
played one series, two max.
Mhm. Yeah.
So what did you see from Malik Hartford and
When we talked
Jalen
about Hartford,
McClain?
Hartford did not look good today, and that's a one-off. He's apparently looked good, in other scrimmages and other practices. Jalen McClain looked good today. I thought he looked good. No one really looked good on defense. Like, I would just say, not that no one popped because they weren't playing real defense. But as
Yeah.
far as what you can get from a spring game, looked good. Like, it's
Right.
hard to judge the defense on that. You can't judge a defense like those Michigan people. If we want to get into those Michigan podcast people and start talking like them, yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Like how many points did they give up? Yeah, how many touchdowns did they give up?
Yeah.
How many times did they get burnt deep? But you're not getting any pressure on the quarterback. You're going to get burnt deep.
Yep.
We saw that in the
Yep.
Oregon game, the first Oregon game last year.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
just pretend it was like playing like that.
hmm
No stunts, no nothing. Just play a base defense.
So I actually think Jalen McClain is probably going to start. I've
I do
thought
too.
this for a long period of time. I feel like Malik has been doing well, and I think what I think they saw was they could do Malik because he's a hard hitting safety. Who else was a hard hitting safety? Lathan Ransom was the hardest hitting safety in
Ooh,
all of college
yeah,
football last year. So I think they
yeah.
saw that correlation, and they're like, we can move Caleb around here, here, and here. But what I think is going to happen is Jalen's a little bit better in coverage, so I think they're
Mm-hmm.
going to play him, and he's
Mm-hmm.
more of a ball hawk. And then you
Mm-hmm.
also have Caleb that can do everything. So I think that's a no-fly zone in the safety position, and I think that that's going to be the starters if I had to guesstimate right now, barring any
Yeah.
injuries or foreseen things that we don't know that can happen.
I can see that for sure. Yeah, and it depends on what defense we're going to roll too, because we're going to roll different defenses. You're going to see a little
Yeah.
bit of variation. That's what Matt Patricia is known for, and it's going to be week to week too. It's not going to just be all right. This is how we get multiple with our defenses versus Texas. We do something completely different with Penn State. I mean,
Yeah.
that's right out of Matt Patricia's playbook.
Yep.
You shut down their
Yep.
best player and make them beat you with someone else.
Exactly.
Now, if he was
Exactly.
playing defense against Ohio State, I don't know what you do because we got a lot of best players.
Yep. And I do like what we saw from Fahim Delane today.
Yeah. Yeah, that interception
So
was good. And
yeah.
there's been a lot of talk about him, in the closed practices too.
Oh
He's
yeah.
been showing out.
What have they been saying? Because I haven't really heard too much about him.
He's a dog.
Yeah.
He came in ready to play. He's playing like a junior right now.
Yeah. Yep. So I think that my surprise of the day, and this is a good surprise for me, is the performance of Brian Hartline. I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
he did a
It
very
was
good job today.
up in the box first half, down on the field second half. So he's mixing it up to see how he felt. So yeah,
That was pretty smart.
he called a really good game. You know what's
Yep.
interesting? I
What's
was
that?
down close to the field and not on the field, but I was back a little bit taking pictures, and I heard them testing with Sonny Styles. Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me? To get the mics in. I was like, man, that's awesome. That's a new aspect of college football last year that you would have never seen before. So making sure the mic worked in the helmet. The helmet collar is
Yeah,
cool as hell.
it is. It really is. So, outside of that, were you able to see any recruits walking around? Did you get any vibe checks from them or how they were carrying themselves?
The
And
ones that I noticed more was just the guys already committed. Like Max Riley was there, and dude,
Mhm.
everyone was trying to get pictures of him when he was walking through. Looked like a big dude. Looked real
Yeah,
cleaned up today too.
okay, interesting. Maybe he was going out to a frat party with
Still
the fellas.
still had the Crocs on though, man.
Oh, okay. You know, big
Yeah,
old lineman.
he
We
rocks
gotta,
those.
yeah, that's awesome. So that's
No one
about
else really that I noticed.
okay. So that's about
At
all
least
that I wanted to ask today. Do you
yeah,
have
man.
anything else you want to talk about?
No, I just think we need to reiterate this is a young team. This is a team that needs leaders, needs experience. So it's going to be real interesting to see what happens against that Texas game. To open up the season like that is a tough task for this team.
Yeah, and I
And not to
think
say that they can't do it. It's just
yeah,
don't be surprised if you see some down moments to start the year.
I think there's going to be growing pains for
Exactly.
the team. It's going to be growing pains for Coach Hart. Um, is it to be expected? But at the same time, I think Texas they lost a lot as well, right? A lot of their players are going to the draft, but I feel like Texas is a talent equated team. The only
Mm-hmm.
advantage I give Texas is most of their coaching staff is still the same. We don't really know how good Arch is. Like we assume
Well,
he's going to be good,
he got
right?
a lot of he got like 3 or 4 starts, did he?
Yeah, but they
Because
played like trash
McCord,
teams.
or I mean, Ewers
Ewers
was
got
hurt. It
hurt.
doesn't matter. Uh, it doesn't matter who it was. I mean, having that experience, I wish our quarterbacks would have had a little bit more experience against some of the garbage time, you know, big wins that we had. I mean, even in the playoffs against Tennessee, some of these guys should have had some more reps and
Well,
been
yeah,
ready to
for
go
sure.
now.
I definitely agree, and I think that they need to do that and learn from
Mm-hmm.
previous mistakes moving forward. Coach Day has been really good about rectifying mistakes that he's made, so I trust and
Absolutely.
believe in him in terms of that. The reason I still say is kind of garbage time because I mean the teams he played, yeah, they're real games, live bullets and stuff. But I mean, trying to throw, even with the quarterbacks not being live, trying to throw against BIA, like they're that defense that Sam was seeing and playing against in practice every day is 10 times better than anything Arch played. in those 3 games. Now, yes, it's live and you could give them that, but also when Arch got in the game, he also was concussed from getting hit in the back by Lathan Ransom. So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we're assuming off the pedigree, the name, the little bit
Mm-hmm.
that we did see that he's just going to come in, lighten it up. But what happens if he doesn't? He has to go and face that same defense that
Mm-hmm.
was smacking him up last time. And this time, you got to be the man. There is no, like, I'm going to catch him off guard. They're game planning for you. They're going to know all your tendencies. Uh, Caleb Downs has been drawing up defensive plays since he was 4 years old with G.I. Joes, literally by himself. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you're going to be facing and going against, that level of competition and elitism that I don't even think you have on your defense in terms of the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
He does have great wide receivers, but I'm saying all that to say this: they're losing a lot as well. So
Sure.
I
Yeah.
think it's a I think it's a 50-50 game on paper in a neutral site, but being home in Columbus, granted, it's a noon game and not a night game, which is kind of trashy. I would give us a 55-45 advantage in that situation to win this game. Now, if we win this game, that a huge confidence booster,
Mm-hmm.
but it also gives you a little leeway to go ahead and play around with your next 2 to 3 games, which are against Grambling, I think Ohio University, and somebody else that's not super good before you get
Mm-hmm.
into Big Ten play. And it allows you to continue to grow, that growth process that Coach Day likes and he used last year. So that way you could go on another run. But yes, that Texas game is going to be huge.
Yeah. We're gonna know
Yeah.
quick how good this team is.
Yeah. Yep. We will. We will. And I mean, will we really know how quick, super quick as we think, or are we just going to have an idea like this is what they need to
An
work on?
idea.
If they do
An
drop a
idea.
game, if they do drop a game, I would love it to be that game because guess what?
Absolutely.
It keeps everybody locked in. It keeps the coaches locked in. All right, we got to figure this out. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have room to go ahead and drop another game.
Yep.
So either way, I
I
feel
agree.
like it's a win-win situation. So I'm excited for it. I'm actually taking Mika to that game, August 30th.
Nice. Nice.
So
That'll
that
be
should be cool. And if you're there, I've definitely got to meet up with you.
for sure.
But
Yeah.
but
No doubt.
you got any final words to Buckeye Nation before we sign off? I'm getting
Nah,
text
man. Just
messages like you need to hurry up. I'm trying to deadbolt the door for my daughter.
nah, we good, man. It's just enjoy it, man. We got a whole off season to go back and look at these tapes and dissect it a little bit more. Just
Yeah.
enjoy the process, man, because we might, you never know what's going to happen. We've been so lucky as Buckeye fans to be where we're at and to have the coaches that we have and the players that we got and the culture that we have now. We got to just enjoy the ride.
This is the thing for me. Enjoy it. We When's the last time we had a 3-loss season? It's been forever. That's that team up north. They have consistently 3, 5, 6 losses a season. We don't do that here in Columbus. We win. That's what we do. And we hire winners. And our whole staff is full of winners. If you go from the top all the way down to the bottom, from Coach Day down to the lowest O line coach, who all
Mm-hmm.
those O line coaches and analysts had their own line coaches they were coaching last year. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. It's going to be a big season. We get the depth right on defensive line. We're running it back, going back to back. And you heard it here on the Buckeye Boys first. I expect some big booms to come in soon. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously, some will be obvious, some will be surprising to you guys. And just enjoy this ride. We're in dynasty mode right now. And the best thing that ever happened to the Ohio State Buckeyes in the past 5 to 10 years, besides these two natties that we won, is Coach Saban giving back to his roots where he started and retiring so that way we can have the cream of the creme.
That's
So
right.
on that note, I want to say thank you guys for showing up, for joining us, always supporting the Buckeye Boys. You guys are great. Without you, this couldn't have been done. Like we wouldn't even do this at all. I want to salute to Buckeye Steve for helping us. He's on the field. He has the field pass. He has access. So you guys want to get some behind the scene content, go ahead and follow him at Buckeye Backers on X. And where else can they find you?
X, YouTube, Facebook is actually a really large account that we have, and then our show is always on anywhere you can download the podcast by audio if you want.
Absolutely. So thank you guys. God bless. And I hope Dev is out there being safe and having fun with the family on his much needed vacation. You know, Dev has like 3 businesses that he runs, plus he does this. So like that's a busy man.
Staying busy.
Yeah. And you know he's always in the gym too. We're in the gym, we're competing right now with each other,
Good.
just trying to make each other better, you know. Nothing different than what the brotherhood does. So like salute to Dev. Thank you for coming on, Steve. We're gonna have you back on. Everybody go give
Thanks,
Steve a follow on X or wherever else you can find him. As he said, he's on all the platforms. And on that note, have a good evening, ladies and gents. OH.
God bless.
God bless you.